This is Switzer Network News. Producing electricity from the sun with solar panels seems like the perfect solution to our energy needs. But solar panels can also create problems for the environment. Switzer Fellow Dustin Mulvaney believes there are win-win solutions out there.
Now the challenge is, with any industrial production process, scaling up manufacturing very quickly could have some pretty negative ends and could actually end up undermining the goals of solar energy. We may get that low carbon future that we're seeking and desiring for the challenge of climate change, but we may actually invite more opportunities for negative impacts to workers, to other things that fall outside of climate change, biodiversity, chemical pollution to rivers, things like that.
You'll see solar panels on rooftops and parking lots, but there has been a movement to site large installations on intact ecosystems found on public lands.
The challenge with siting power plant in intact ecosystems is that you actually have to level the land, you have to scrape it, so typically they'll send bulldozers out and they'll scrape the top layer of soil and plant life off. And these are very large parcels we're talking about, so 3 miles by 4 miles. Some of the challenges include dealing with the desert tortoise. So there's one power plant in the eastern Mojave Desert that was sited, and they had to actually translocate over 150 desert tortoises from that particular site to a new site. We spend more money conserving the desert tortoise than we spend on the grizzly bear, the gray wolf, the bald eagle. So we spend a lot of resources on conserving this particular species, but at the same time we're undermining its own viability by siting these very, very large power plants on their habitat. Some of the areas that we could start to site solar power plants include degraded agricultural lands out in the Imperial Valley, for example, or along the Colorado River in the Colorado Desert and the Sonoran Desert areas. There are a lot of agricultural lands that actually need to be retired because we overdraft from the Colorado River, and partly because the incentives are going away for growing some of the crops that they are growing in these areas. So there is a lot of degraded land available in the desert. It's just a matter of shifting the incentives to actually site power plants on these particular parcels. In some cases, they're growing alfalfa out in the desert, and alfalfa we know is one of the highest water consuming crops. So if we think about water as energy, which we have to in California because 20% of our energy bill for the state is spent moving around water, if we start thinking about win-win opportunities, we could start seeing multiple benefits from siting these things on degraded land.
You can learn more about solar industry trends and see a scorecard of the top manufacturers at solarscorecard.com. Dustin Mulvaney is one of dozens of Switzer Fellows doing innovative and inspiring work. To learn more, visit switzernetwork.org and then click on the News tab. I'm Jerry Kay.